So we got to go ahead and talk about some breaking news involving a part of the newest episode of the Joe Budden podcast, where part of it, they were talking about the recent developments as far as it goes with Milagro's lawsuit against Megan Thee Stallion. It has made the proceedings to the courtrooms now. It's officially underway. The ball is rolling full steam ahead right in time for the holiday season. And while they were giving their commentary about it, Joe said something that I think is absolutely wild and bizarre.
Now, right now, you have Joseph Anthony Jones. You play Monopoly. You play Monopoly well. Let's do it. What do you get for answering this deposition? They're not going to talk about this. What am I going to get? A wedge up Meg's ass? No, yes, I am. I'm going to answer everyone. I believe it. I was fucking the shit out of Milagro. Okay, but first of all, stiff dicking her down, the best dick she ever got. Yeah, I'm doing all that. And we talk every night. You know what happens? Meg wins. Meg's going to win anyway. We don't care about that. But then you I'm just being toxic. Oh, yeah, but then you can witness that. Allow her to win. She's going to win anyway. But you're going to go back. Well, you're going to go back.
Now, the small little time that they did spend on this, they really didn't let Flip continue his point when he said, how do you know that Megan's going to win? It sounds like that there may have been a cut there. I don't know what was said. Something may have been said to where Joe was like, shush, 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 or something got cut out, I think. And they don't even circle back at any point to try to, have Flip expound on it. It's so crazy. I fuck with Joe, and I guess that ship has sailed of any potential ideas of Milagro sitting on their couch. Just, I guess at this point, completely scratch that off the pen. I just look at it like this. That has been a wild rumor for the longest time to try to figure out, have they been fucking? And Milagro spoke to it a few times in the past, saying, why y'all all in my business, woo-woo. Now, people could take that one or two ways, but at the same time, Milagro knows about, like anybody else, how bad that would be for her. And based on, as somebody who's a fan of her, I think that if it was even remotely true that she slept with Tory, she probably would have the unmitigated gall to be like, yeah, I fucked him. If that was the case. But we know she's married to Drake. She's not ever going to cheat on him. So there's that. All I know is we need to see Milagro ride around with Drake in the Iceman truck. That's it. But it's so amazing. He still thinks that there's no chance that Milagro will win this case. He don't understand that this could bite him in the ass. You don't think that Megan can be like, all right, now that I'm done with Milagro, I'm going to go for you, Joe. While he's sitting over there on the couch thinking that Megan's going to win, what's going to stop her from coming for y'all next? And obviously, Joe is a glutton for punishment, and he chose to say and do this at a very inconvenient time. How come you chose to say this about Milagro when she can't speak? When it was up in the air and them rumors were only on Twitter, they didn't make it to nobody's platform that could even be a remote possibility. You ain't never once said that. You ain't never once even threw up the idea that they were hunching. Never once. When she was outside streaming, making her content, why didn't you say something then? You want to wait till she's being held up in court to now say something when she's legally binded to not say anything. That's just great. Now this is going to go out, but this makes it all very much an inconvenience for Milagro. But best believe though, Joey, when Milagro comes out of this, whenever she comes out of this, she can be on your ass for that. So I don't think it's going to be any way for you to be able to scrub any trace or evidence of what you just said on this podcast. And also, I don't really think that Joe understands the gravity of his own words. If that was the only way that anybody could be able to believe that is if it was presented in the courts. And I think if that's something that's a remote possibility, you have to wait till the courtroom say that. If anybody in the court says, hey, we have reason to believe you and Tory Lanez with this, this, and this on these dates that y'all were having some type of intimate affair, whether they got pulled security footage from restaurants or from somebody's Ring camera. Somebody's always getting caught on a Ring camera nowadays. And we know that the internet wouldn't have to really see that much to put two and two together. All they would have to see is a screenshot of Tory Lanez's arm with any revealing tattoos. And they'll be like, wait, Tory got them same tattoos, and that'll be it. That'll be all she wrote. But hypothetically, allegedly, if the courts could prove that, they would have to prove that. But the whole notion of this whole trial ain't even about that. It's more so about this whole AI deepfake thing. Now, if they can somehow prove that, hey, wait a minute, we do got reason to believe that you and him were messing around. This is why. It'll be one of them things that it wouldn't have any adverse effect on Tory Lanez. I don't think, because he'll go back inside and the guys in prison be like, wait, you almost got with Kylie Jenner. You got with Megan Thee Stallion. You got with Meg's former best friend at the time. And you got with a blogger.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
But there is one eensy little bit of a detail that people are overlooking with that. The only way Tory Lanez is ever going to admit, because he didn't admit to, saying that he had any type of sexual relationship with Meg, because we understand how the world is, and I'm not trying to pander, I'm just telling you how it is straight up. If a man says, I fucked the shit out of somebody, it's insane. We know how it works. What guy is going to get shamed for outing that, hey, I slept with a girl and I liked it? Nobody. Or for that matter, if a woman said, yo, I sucked a mean dick last night.
You didn't say that. Tell me you did not just say that.
Is she going to be attacked for admitting that she did it? No. Is he going to be shamed for being a slut? No. Because if we're being honest, a lot of us guys are easier to get inside of than a can of Pringles. But it would be one of them things to even, perpetuate the idea. Hell, I wouldn't even say some shit like this, simply because I understand how much of a damning, lasting effect it could have on Milagro's career. Not even from a personal standpoint, which I'm pretty sure from a personal standpoint, she probably would be like, I don't really give a fuck about none of you hoes. But at the same time, there would be people who would be looking at Milagro like, wait, you were only talking about Meg all these years, or anybody else that was Roc Nation, only because you had some type of secret relationship or affair with Tory, then people are going to be looking at it like that. I'm not saying that I understand that's how people are going to view it. They're going to be looking back and they're going to be digging through every stream, every clip they can find of Milagro and be like, wait, she talked about Jay-Z. She talked about Roc Nation. To a lesser degree, Beyonce, even though she loves Beyonce, we know this. And most importantly, she's talked about Megan Thee Stallion for years. Now, granted, she's been very fair and impartial to Meg. It's not like she, booed up stream and said, hey, Meg, fuck you. Like, even with the whole AI deepfake, she said that it was very appalling and disturbing. Now, maybe, just maybe, some of the hardcore fans of Milagro could be like, maybe try to drag it and try to, think shit was cute and funny to troll and push that as a thing. Or even people who are like stands of other people that may not even like Megan, or just evil outright people to just try to spread it and say, see, we know Megan did this and that and the third. But the only surefire way there would be any way to prove that they had some type of intimate affair is if somehow, some way, some type of jail calls got leaked, or jail messages at that. Because we've seen how quickly those things get leaked out. Just look at Young Thug. If somehow, some way that shit got put on wax to the internet and in court, that's all the streets we need to know. If it was to somehow get out, hey, we got audio of both of them talking flirtatious, or what we deem to be flirtatious, on a jail call in the courtroom, and all it would take is somebody to tweet that out, and it would just be like kerosene, gasoline mixed together to create a huge explosion. It would just land the whole internet on fire. And it would possibly cause some type of distrust with her own audience. Now, as somebody who is a fan of her, even though I would be disappointed, and if allegedly that ever came out to be true, I would be like, man, yo, dog, you shouldn't have did that. Like, it's one of the things, you shouldn't mix business with pleasure and just leave it at that. But as it stands, it would be absolutely irresponsible, like it is for Joe, to sit there and say, definitively, this is a thing that happened. And I think that if Joe isn't careful, you might end up getting deposed in the lawsuit by Milagro next. Because even though I know Milagro ain't really big on taking somebody like Joe to court, she would rather just get on stream just to drag his ass again. Which, if we're being honest, Joe does have a self-admitted kink to getting, you know, ridiculed by women online, especially if they drag him by his ankles. Yeah. And even hypothetically, it would paint a bad picture for a lot of bloggers, because people would just start thinking, wait, bloggers out here fucking to cover or to have certain biases to or for anybody in the industry. It would just create a lot of distrust, especially, and people could, this ain't me saying it, who would be in a pot calling the kettle black situation. She's always bigged herself as this new media figure and how the new media will overtake the old guard and this, that, and the third, or traditional ways of receiving information or being presented with information. And it would kind of, I think it would suffer a big blow if that was the case. And again, for the record, let the record show, I don't think what Joe is saying is true. I think he's full of hogwash. On top of that, it's just very irresponsible for his own platform, considering how massive it is, to sit there and say that this woman was out here fucking on Tory. Just you wait till the clips start going out by this time tomorrow. People will have all the clips in the world, all the ammunition in the world that they would need that could further hinder her own case. And like I said earlier, I just think that this is just bad timing on Joe's part, because you're deciding to say that when she can't fire back at you. Cowardly coming from you. But with that being said, y'all let me know what you think about this mess in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.